Joel, pick a side. What's the word, man? How are things?
Everything is going good for me. I have to make a decision, an ultimatum later tonight because I went to the Packers game on Monday and I put my fandom for the Packers on the line. And if the Packers lost, then I would have to go back to the New York Jets. That's my punishment. So everybody's anticipating what my next step is. They're anticipating whether or not I'm going to remain a Packers fan or go to the New York Jets. It's one of the two.
Knicks is your biggest team, though, right? Isn't that the team that you hold close to your heart?
In basketball, I've never thought about not being a Knicks fan. I'll say that. The Jets were just so bad for such a long time. They have the longest playoff drought in the NFL right now. I think it's 16 years. So it was just too much for me to handle at that point. So then I was just, I'm just done with it because this team doesn't deserve my hard-earned money and support. So the Knicks, when they made the playoffs in 2020, led by Julius Randle, that was an 8-year playoff drought, and I feel like that kind of gave the city some hope. So, yeah, I would say I was definitely more of a Jets fan, though, because I was watching football from 2009 on. I didn't really start watching basketball until like 2010, and I didn't become a Knicks fan until Carmelo Anthony got traded to the team.
Well, you are the host of the Pick a Side pod, so is it Julius Randle or Cat?
Julius Randle.
Wow. Why so?
He can play make at a really high level. He can penetrate the defense, and he just adds an element to ball handling that I don't think Cat offers. Cat offers shooting, but I think that when I look at the Knicks play, when I watch them play, they've been playing better as of recently offensively, but I feel like what is missing is somebody that can take the ball out of Brunson's hands and actually create for themselves. So I like Julius Randle as a player more. I have more of an attachment to Julius Randle, but I will say, Cat's been awesome.
Yeah, I agree with you. I actually think Cat is the more talented player, but I do think Jalen Brunson is a better basketball player, if that makes sense.
Okay, so you think Cat is more talented than Brunson, but Brunson is a better basketball player.
Sorry. I said we're talking about Randle and Cat, not Brunson. Did you say Brunson?
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you said Brunson, I was like,
I
okay.
said Brunson. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I think that Cat is a more talented player than Randle. Sorry, and Randle is a better basketball player.
No, that makes sense. I think that Cat doesn't use all of his abilities or as aggressive as nearly enough as you want him to be because, the talent is undeniable. He's a 7-footer who can shoot lights out from 3. It's undeniable that he was the first overall pick for a reason. I just feel like in the NBA we haven't gotten it at that consistent of a level, especially in big-time spots.
Yeah. When I talk to people around the NBA, they say the same thing. At times he doesn't come up big in the biggest moments.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
And this past playoff run, he did come up big in big moments. He had some great moments against the Pacers and the Boston Celtics. So I want to give him his due diligence.
And the Pistons. He looked against the Pistons.
And the Pistons.
Too. Yeah.
He had some shots on the side that really, really kept the Knicks in it. So I think Cat, this past playoff run, he was really good. Last playoff run with the Timberwolves, he was good. And it's hard to make back-to-back conference finals being the second option on the team.
I know why I was saying Brunson because I got a Brunson would you rather later for you. Even though we did it already, this one's going to be a little different. But with that said, I want to stay on the Knicks. What are your biggest concerns for the New York Knicks? Because they do have championship aspirations. Mine is that can you be good enough defensively to win a championship when Cat and Brunson are your two best players? Is that a fair concern, and what's your biggest concern?
That's a fair concern. I think it is the biggest concern. It's the defense for the Knicks. They don't have a true rim protector. If Mitch Robinson's not on the court, I think that hurts them defensively. And the defensive wings that they have in Mikal and OG, I feel like you can easily get them switched on to somebody else when you use screen and actions, and now you have a more favorable matchup offensively. So there's two major weak links on the Knicks defense. My other concerns for them would be the fact that they're dealing with a lot of injuries right now. Jalen Brunson is hurt, and who knows what his injuries are going to be. He rolled his ankle against the Magic last night, and then OG Anunoby's out of the lineup as well. So right now it feels like the team's a little bit hobbled, and we give up a lot of threes. Like, onto the defense part of the Magic's game plan last night was that they were just going to take a ton of threes because the Knicks give them up. They pack the paint and they allow those open shots. And, we saw Orlando just start hitting all of them. And that's why we got blown out.
Yeah, shouts to Anthony Black. I liked him out of college, and now he's making threes. I mean, if that guy could make threes, he's going to be an impactful player.
Yeah, I'm waiting on his 3-point development.
Right. Yeah, it looked better last night.
Yeah, it looked better. He has some spurts where he looks really good, and then he goes back into not looking that impactful. But if he has his jump shot going for him, I think that he's going to be a really good player.
What have you seen from Mike Brown that has been different from Tibbs outside of the ball movement and player movement? What are you liking from Mike Brown right now?
The rotations. I think that we go deeper into our bench and more of our players are being used, and we're not asking our starters to play as big of a load as they used to play in years past. And then outside of that, I would just say the sets, the plays that are being ran. I feel like people are touching the ball and everybody's getting into some sort of rhythm, and we're playing much faster than before as well.
Yes. Yeah, and more corner threes, it feels like, and OG's hitting them at a high clip.
Yeah, no, I feel like he's brought a lot of things from Sacramento over to New York when the Kings were the number 1 ranked offense, and it looks that way. But I don't think offense is our biggest concern. Like, I think offensively we can reach another level that we just didn't have with Tibbs. But I think what you said earlier, it's just going to come back to defense at the end of the day. Like, the best teams can guard. The best teams have the personnel to guard. So if you don't have the personnel back to match stars, it's going to be really difficult.
I want to shift to the Dallas Mavericks. Nico Harrison has been relieved of his duties. And looking back on that trade, I said it back then, the worst trade in sports history. It was the worst trade in sports history because when I first heard it, all I could think was there has to be something we don't know, and nothing we don't know ever came out. It was fascinating.
It was the worst trade ever. And I'm still baffled of the fact that ownership let him make the trade. There's a lot of conspiracy theories out there, and I kind of buy into some of them because I just feel like there's no way that this wasn't some sort of inside job just because Nico Harrison had to get the okay from ownership. And it just is ridiculous to me how ownership would sign off on trading Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis, and then they barely got any picks back as well. But the ownership, it seems by all reports that they were mesmerized by Nico Harrison when the Mavericks made the NBA Finals. They viewed him as a basketball savant and genius, so they just listened to whatever he said. And Nico, for a long time, has had something against Luka Doncic. And from all reports, this was a collective decision. Like, Jason Kidd is not scotch-free. Jason Kidd also co-signed this trade as well. And it put the Mavericks in such a hole. I think, to be fair to them, this is the worst possible scenario that could have happened because we never got to see a healthy Anthony Davis with a healthy Kyrie Irving. We never got to see how those pieces would fit around those two players. Kyrie tears his ACL. Anthony Davis, first game, gets hurt. It's still a bad trade. There's no excusing it, but we also we never even got a chance to even see what it could be.
That is fair, but Nico knows Anthony Davis really well, and I get that they're friends, but you also know after saying Luka wasn't in the best condition, Anthony Davis is not the guy to be the biggest workout guy in the offseason. I heard that, and Nico knows Anthony Davis personally, so you have to take that into consideration as well.
Yeah, you do. I think that it was short-sighted, and it basically handed the Lakers a bigger window to contend for a championship and compete with Luka. And with the Mavericks, now they're in a rebuild mode. And where do you think they should do moving forward? Because I feel like it's pretty obvious, but it's also a risk to move off of so many players.
Destroy and rebuild. Shouts to Nas, man. Destroy and rebuild. Yeah, you got to trade Kyrie, trade AD. I don't know who would trade for them at this point, but I'm thinking maybe a contender that wants to win within the next 2 years, even though they're not going to play much this year, and build around Cooper. I still believe highly in Cooper Flagg. I'm getting text messages, DMs that people don't believe he's a franchise player anymore. I totally disagree with that, and I think you build around him. And we saw that version of him the other night against the Bucks. I think he's the guy you build around at this point. Is that fair to you? How do you feel about it?
I would do the same thing. I would probably try to trade Anthony Davis, get more first-round picks back. the problem with Dallas is that they don't own their first round picks from 2027 to 2029, I believe. 2026 is the next first round pick they own. So I think that, even if they're healthy, they can be bad this year. But if they are as bad as possible this year, they have a chance to pair Cooper Flagg with one of the top 3 prospects in this draft. But a fit that I really love is Cooper Flagg and Mikal Brown Jr. from Louisville. I think that they need a point guard desperately. And Mikal Brown Jr. is a really good passer. He's a good shooter. And I've seen mock drafts recently, and he's like being mocked to be the 5th pick. And I think the Mavericks are a great spot for him. And I think they have to lean all into this youth movement while not trying to tear down everything. Like, there are some role players that can stay. Like, I think Gafford and Lively will stay. I think Max Christie will stay. PJ Washington probably stays. I think the trade pieces are Najee Marshall, Anthony Davis, and who knows if anybody wants Klay Thompson at this point, but I would try to trade him too.
Going into the draft, what did you think about Cooper's game? Seeing the small sample size now, have you changed? Have you moved off any of your priors? Because like I said, I still have the same thoughts I did going into the draft. I think he's a franchise player, and I think he's going to be great. What have you seen in these first, I'd say, 10 games or so from Cooper Flagg?
I thought he was an excellent defensive prospect who can drive and finish at the basket, really good in transition. Half-court game kind of lacks because of the lack of handle that he has. I think that's the biggest weakness. But he's also young. Like, he is not supposed to be in the NBA right now. He's supposed to be a freshman in college right now. So there's still room for him to grow. And I've been very encouraged by what he's been showing recently. I think having a point guard out there that can initiate things and he can play more off ball has helped him a lot. I feel like that's the role that he has to play in as of right now, so he can slowly learn and grow and build those abilities. I think that Jason Kidd putting all the responsibilities on him day one was malpractice.
Do you think he's still, people use the generational term. I don't know if, that's.
No, I don't think so.
And what do you think? What's his ceiling? What's Cooper Flagg's ceiling to you?
I think Cooper Flagg's ceiling is an all-NBA player.
Yeah.
I think not in a one-to-one comparison, but like, for example, Blake Griffin. He was one of the better players in the NBA at his very best. Was he as good as the top guys? No, he wasn't. He was kind of maybe a couple steps below, but he was still an excellent player. I think that's where I view Cooper Flagg. Like, I think Cooper Flagg is gonna be an all-NBA player, but I don't know if I see MVP in him.
The Blake Griffin thing is interesting because remember when he played with the Pistons, he wasn't in his prime athletically, but he was playing at almost an MVP level when we saw Point Blank. I wonder if they would have tried that like earlier in his career, what would happen?
Yeah, I wonder if he just would have stayed healthy if the Clippers go on a deep playoff run too. Like, they had so many chances, but injuries were just a major Achilles heel. But Blake gets underrated because Blake Griffin, especially in the Detroit year, he was the most complete player he's ever been. The ball handling ability, the playmaking, and even before Chris Paul got to the Clippers, I remember when the Clippers were on the outside looking in of the playoff picture, and Blake was playing at such a high level to the point that it was a conversation of whether or not he was going to lead them to the playoffs. And we saw the playmaking chops. We saw how complete he is as a player. And I think when Chris Paul came to the Clippers, not that he took that away from Blake's game, but if Chris Paul is now handling the ball for the majority and making the decisions, Blake doesn't have to do that. And I think that when Chris Paul left, we got to see that version of Blake unlocked once again, where he can be like the focal point and the lead decision maker in an offense.
Yeah, we saw the Dallas Mavericks try and use Cooper Flagg as a point guard. It didn't really work out too well. But with that said, where do you land on the Rookie of the Year race at this point? I really like Knippel before the season. I think he's the most consistent rookie so far. Obviously, Edgecombe has had the greater moments. Edgecombe hit a few walls a few times. I think Edgecombe has the higher ceiling, but I'm still liking Knippel. What are your thoughts on Rookie of the Year?
I'm going to go with you with Knippel. Knippel has been very impressive. He's averaging 17 points per game, and since like LaMelo went out, he's taken such a big role and has had really high scoring outputs and nice assist games. So Knippel has been lights out. Like there's nothing that you and I don't think that, like you said, the other rookies have hit some sort of wall. Edgecombe has hit some sort of wall. Cooper Flagg in the beginning wasn't as good as he's playing right now.
He came in on a wall, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the other players like that are consistent aren't playing at a high level to Concanepo. Like Cedric Coward has been consistent from day one, but he's not playing as good as Concanepo. And then Derek Queen, like as of recently, we've seen the uptick in him, and Tim Duncan gave him the cosign. I think this rookie class is pretty amazing, and Concanepo right now is standing out to me just because it feels like all the attention was on Flagg and Edgecombe, and then here's Canepo playing well. But then we have Derek Queen, and then we have Cedric Coward. Like I think this rookie class has been really good.
We're starting to see like the disciples of Jokic. With Queen, like, how we saw it with Steph Curry and Trey. I'm not saying Trey is Steph Curry, but we're starting to see that now with Jokic, and it's really interesting to see Derek Queen play.
Yeah, he plays a lot like him, and the passing chops are there, the ball handling for his size. Like, he's just really fun to watch.
So now, I just got a call on it. I lost my train of thought, but we are all good. I want to stay on Jokic for a second. 55 last night. Is he the most valuable player ever? There's been greater players than Jokic, but is Jokic the most valuable basketball player to ever live?
No. I think that I look at like the Cleveland Cavaliers, first stint LeBron James being more valuable. Really, it's a short list of players, though, when it comes to Nikola Jokic. I do think that he is the most complete offensive player that I've ever seen in my life. And I think that he is the most complete offensive player in NBA history. There is not one weakness in Nikola Jokic's game. He finishes at an elite level. He shoots the mid-range at an elite level. He playmakes at an elite level. He can post up at an elite level. There is no other offensive player that you can measure him up to that comes close to him. Like, even currently in the league, SGA is a great scorer. Jokic is just as good, if not a better scorer than him. And then he's also an elite playmaker, which SGA, he cannot touch Jokic when it comes to playmaking. Giannis struggles from the outside as a shooter, and he's not as good of a playmaker as Nikola Jokic either. With Luka Doncic, I think that's the closest comparison when it comes to Nikola Jokic, but Jokic is more efficient, and I think when it comes to playmaking, they're pretty similar. I think that when we watch Jokic, we're just watching the most complete offensive player that's ever played in the NBA.
Is it fair to say that no matter who wins the award, Jokic is the most valuable player every year, even though we had to give kudos to Shea last year because it was amazing, finals MVP, they won a championship. But every year, Jokic really is the most valuable.
I think that every year people automatically say that Jokic is the best because it's hard to ignore what he's doing every single year. But SGA last year, Chet Holmgren missing most of the season, Isaiah Hartenstein missing to start, winning MVP, averaging 30 points per game. I thought that what he did leading a team to 67 wins was deemed most valuable, especially with your co-star out for an extended period of time and you still being able to do that. And then this year, he has 30 points, I think, in 6 of their 7 games, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's some number like that. And he hasn't played in the fourth quarters. He's resting in the fourth quarters because they're blowing teams out. They're on pace to win 70 games. And J-Dub right now is out. Chet right now is out. Like, he is dealing with injuries to his co-stars, and they're winning at a historic level. That's like if Jokic didn't have Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon, and then they're on pace to win 70 games. I think that everybody would acknowledge that. So I think Shea needs to be in a conversation.
You're a Knicks fan. Would you trade Brunson for Shea right now?
Yeah.
That easy?
It's easy. I love Brunson, but when it comes to Shea, it's pretty easy.
Why so?
Because SGA is a more complete player. He's a better scorer than Jalen Brunson. I think he's a better playmaker than Jalen Brunson. Although Brunson has improved as a playmaker, I think that SGA's scoring gravity attracts more attention, therefore leads to more open shots for his teammates. And SGA is a bigger player than Brunson, so that just automatically makes him more valuable defensively. He can get deflections. He can guard. And being a two-way player of SGA's caliber, that's why I would take him over Jalen Brunson. So that's why I would favor SGA. Speaking
of Brunson, we're going to go with a little would you rather. A pick-a-side favorite. Look, so this is how we're going to do it. We're only going to use former Knicks players, but since Jalen Brunson is in his prime window, we will use those players in their prime.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Jalen Brunson or prime Derrick Rose?
This is something I have to think about for a little bit. I'm going to go prime Derrick Rose.
Jalen Brunson or prime Stephon Marbury?
Jalen Brunson.
Jalen Brunson or prime Walt Frazier?
I'm going to go with Jalen Brunson by default. I just didn't see Walt Frazier.
Fair. Prime Baron Davis or Jalen Brunson?
I'm going to go with Jalen Brunson. Baron Davis was an amazing slasher. There's no doubt about it, but I'm going to go with Jalen Brunson.
Jalen Brunson or prime Carmelo Anthony?
Carmelo Anthony.
Jalen Brunson or prime Penny Hardaway?
Jalen Brunson.
Wow.
Yeah, this is Penny Hardaway is every hooper's favorite hooper.
Yeah. No, for sure. Okay. Jalen Brunson or prime Tracy McGrady?
Tracy McGrady.
Jalen Brunson or prime Jason Kidd?
Jason Kidd.
Jalen Brunson or prime Earl Monroe? A little before your time.
Earl the Pearl Monroe. I'll go with Earl Monroe.
Okay, before my time as well. Okay, that's all we have for today. Last thing. One thing you believe about this year's NBA season that others might find crazy?
That others might find crazy. Okay. In the Eastern Conference, I don't think it's signed, sealed, and delivered that the Knicks or the Cavaliers make it out the East. I think that this year in the East, there could be a third wild card team that nobody's expecting that's going to make the NBA Finals. I look at the Knicks' injuries, the defensive personnel. The Cavaliers just seem untrustworthy to me. I think that in the East, there's a realistic shot that the top two teams that everybody's been talking about, they're not the ones that actually make it out the conference.
How you feel about the Magic?
I like the Magic. I think they have a really high ceiling. I don't love the Paolo and Franz fit, but if Jamal Mosley can be a better offensive coach, I think they are definitely a team that can make the championship.
And who is the team, if it's not the Knicks or the Cavs, that you think will come out the East?
I'm going to ride with the Philadelphia 76ers.
What?
They have a lot of potential. Joel Embiid, they're getting him back into the lineup slowly. Paul George is coming back to the Sixers. They're getting healthier. Tyrese Maxey's ascending to a star. I mean, with the way Tyrese Maxey's playing, he's playing like the best point guard in the Eastern Conference. That's how good Tyrese Maxey's playing.
Better than Brunson?
This season, Tyrese Maxey has been playing better than Brunson.
Better than Cade Cunningham?
I'm not going to say Cade Cunningham, but it's been close.
I don't know, man. He's playing great, but, Cade is the guy. I just talked about this with Pierre yesterday. Cade is the guy that makes everybody around them better. Tyrese Maxey's more like, I'm a straight bucket mode,
No, I definitely agree with you. I think Cade is very unselfish, but we also seen him, take like 47 shots the other night.
Would you trade Brunson for Cade?
I like Cade more. I think that when size matters in basketball, it just is what it is. So when you have a player that's like 6'1" versus 6'6" to 6'8", that is a point guard, it gives you a massive advantage.
Yeah, I think they win a championship with Cade. If Cade has OG, Mikal, and Cat, I think they win a championship because defensively they'll just be better. Also, on top of all of that.
So you think with Cade Cunningham, the Knicks would have a better chance to make the NBA Finals and win it all?
They would have won the NBA championship last year with Cade Cunningham.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're that high on Cade Cunningham?
Yeah. I think he's better than Shea.
But you can also say, though, that in the first round last year, if Cade Cunningham played better against the Knicks, they could have won in the first round.
That's fair, but Cade's second best player was Malik Beasley. Jalen was great last year. Tim was great. They were missing players due to injury. It's
They
tough,
were,
man.
but-
Like Jalen Brunson has OG, Cat, and Mikal. That's those are like borderline all-star players. Cat is an all-star, by the way, and even could be all-NBA. OG and Mikal play at all-star level. Like, Cade had nothing like that.
But Cade Cunningham has Asura Thompson. He has Jalen Duren.
Yeah.
He has
They were
Isaiah
young, man.
Stewart. Isaiah
They were
Stewart
young.
didn't play in the series against the Knicks. I think that was a huge loss. And it could have swung things. Jaden Ivey should be coming back.
He wasn't playing, though, in that.
The Pistons have a squad.
Man, Jalen Brunson has a better supporting cast. You know that.
I think,
And
that's
especially
from the starting
last
lineup.
year. And especially last year. And you think about it, they lost 3 of their best offensive players, and they're better this year. They lost Schroeder. They lost Beasley. They lost Tim Hardaway. Cade's different, bro.
I think Cade is different.
Yeah.
So you think, where does he rank for you then? I mean, if you think he's better than Shea,
he's
what's your
top
best
6
NBA players ranking?
Oh, top 6. He's top 6.
So how would you rank it from 1 to 6?
Jokic, Luka, Giannis, Cade, SGA.
Okay. So you have SGA, who just won MVP as the 6th best player in the world.
Yeah, I can't have him over those guys. I put a little bit less in team success than others when we're comparing individual players. Like, I just like looking at the player more. That's my thing. But, I mean, SGA in terms of credentials and what he actually did, then, yeah, that is a little low. I see what you're saying. But in terms of me, I think those players are better basketball players.
Okay, I see. Well, Cade has a chance to lead the Pistons far. I mean, that team in the East that makes it out could be the Pistons. If Cade is as good as you're saying that he is, and I'm not saying he's not, but the Pistons supporting cast is good. Jalen Duren looks like an all-star this year.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. That's fair. All right, who's your top 6 real quick before we get out
My
of here?
top 6, number 1 is – I switch it every time, man. Number 1 is Nikola Jokic. Number 2 is SGA. Number 3 is Giannis. Number 4 is Luka. Number 5 is Victor Wembanyama. And then
Wow, yeah. He's in there too, man. He's in there too.
number 6.
So wait,
that's
Giannis.
tough.
Wait, so who's the one you were missing from mine? Cade, obviously, and were you missing Giannis from your top 5?
No, Giannis is different.
Okay,
I have,
yeah.
So my 1 to 5 is Jokic, SGA, Giannis, Luka, Wemby.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I mean, Wemby's great, man. He's different. Joel, thanks for taking the time, man. Really appreciate you. You're always welcome back. Oh, where can we find you? Social media,
You can
podcast.
find me at Joel V. Moran. I host a podcast called The Pick Aside Podcast and The Joel Moran Show. Thank you for having me on.
Anytime, bro.